Hello guys, welcome to episode 9. It's great to have you here once again. 9. That's good.
You had to go there immediately. Had to pull out that reference.
There's no other way to do it. I mean, when you've got...
No, you spend too much time on TikTok, mate.
Is this has nothing to do with TikTok, it has everything to do with download from last year. So, all good in that house, eh? So yeah, episode 9, 2 guys, 1 podcast. Awesome.
Yes.
This episode is brought to you by SpaceX Internet Service, the only service to prevent unnecessary FIFA server issues. You need to build that Chris Kamara Red Card Squad building challenge. Right.
Very nice.
All good.
My MS Winfield could do with that. I've just come from his stream. He's a big FIFA gamer.
Yeah, wow.
But anyway, how you doing? How you doing, KB?
All good. I mean, I'm going to shoehorn that one in because I know we were talking about FIFA last time and saying how much better PES is for some reason, even though I'd only played a little bit. But I guiltily got FIFA this week and I've played it. So, I mean, if I had to give it any points, I can. To me, it's what FIFA 20 should have been for one. But I don't think it justifies its full price tag. That's all I'll say about it. It has got some improvements. It's fixed. It looks to have fixed career mode, which I'll get into soon in the game, and all off from there. And then I should be able to stream it as soon as I feel like it. So happy days.
Great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you? What's going on in your home of the turf?
Yeah. I haven't played FIFA since FIFA 15, incidentally, so I'm way behind with the times. But one game I have been playing a lot is the very popular kind of, I don't want to say fad because it's so much fun, and I feel like it could be going for a while. But Among Us.
Yes, Among Us. What a game.
It's so addictive, man. I can't tell you. Like, basically, on... What day was it on? It was 3 days ago. I follow Dan Tompkins from Tesseract on Twitch. If you don't know Tesseract, they are a progressive metal / gent act. One of the very first, in fact, to come out of the UK of that particular scene. If you like bands like Periphery, bands like Animals as Leaders, very technical side of progressive metal, then I highly recommend them. Dan is a sensational vocalist. We talked about him last week, in fact, on the last podcast. He mainly streams himself doing Pro Tool sessions and live singing. But in this instance, he does a couple of games as well.
Yeah.
And in this instance, he streamed a game of Among Us, and I was very lucky enough to be involved in a few of the games.
Nice.
You had to be a sub to get involved and be in his Discord, and also your mods had to let you in and stuff, which is fair enough. You don't want any odds and sods person.
No. Like with my
trolls in particular,
With my follow account, I let anybody in, but if I had that. Yeah, if I had that high following, then it would have to be limited at some point. I mean, it's the way you have to. It's a bit of traffic control, isn't it? In that sense.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand though. My mate Cameron Spence Drums, who's also on Twitch, he got trolled yesterday, which wasn't pleasant.
Trolled?
So
what happened?
Well, essentially, he does like song requests on his stream. He's a drummer, so he drums along to any song you could put in the list and stuff. He's really good. I recommend Cameron Spence Drums. Cameron _Spence _drums. He's the drummer of Novena.
Yeah.
He unfortunately, some guy on his stream put up this troll song that was very derogatory and horrible and offensive, and he had to like backtrack and apologize a lot.
Oh, for God's sake.
So just the dangers of Twitch. You can't, you just be careful of letting any old person on it.
Yeah.
Why he let me in? Why Dan let me into this game of Among Us? I don't know, but essentially, it was a lot of fun, and I got to ask him a few Tesseract-based questions and ask him about the Odyssey Scala gig, which I love. It's in full on YouTube. I highly recommend it. It's from Tesseract's 2015 performance at the Scala.
Oh, nice.
He's very self-critical. I've talked about this last time, and he kind of explained why he was so self-critical.
Okay. Well, I've got a clip you sent me here, and
yes,
we'll have a little look and see what the There it is. What the whole experience is like.
Yeah, I'll
streaming
give
with
you a
Dan.
bit of context after you play it. But,
Okay, sounds good.
I've got 4 tasks to do.
What?
I've been
All right.
watching. I've
Why
been
are you
watching
not-
everybody.
That's all the task.
I've had my
almost.
eyes on
All right.
Jim.
Dan,
Dan,
me, you,
finish
you.
your
Let's go
goal.
do the task.
Right, come with me. Let's go. Right, who's with it? Right, Jim, Ule.
Yes!
Ah, you
Hey!
sneaky bugger.
Come on, Jim. High five.
Right then.
You like my
Right,
evil
high
laugh
five.
there.
Did very, very well
I
there.
can't believe
Can't believe
you
you've done
voted
this.
Shaz out instead of me. I can't believe I got away with that.
That was very good. Very good.
Jim.
Enjoyed that.
Sorry, everyone.
I was just waiting for the right moment, Dan. That's all.
Dude, that was very well played.
Thank you.
Right, we'll
GG.
do more.
So
of
yeah,
this
essentially,
someday.
to give you a bit of context, me and this guy Jim were the imposters in the game, and basically, when for those who haven't played Among Us, when you're the imposter, you have to surreptitiously kill all the other members of your crew, right, before they complete their tasks.
Mhm.
So I was obviously, and because we're doing this through voice chat, we basically hold meetings whenever we find a dead body or call an emergency meeting to kick someone out if they're the killer potentially. And if
Mhm.
you kick out both the killers, you win. In this instance, me and Jim somehow managed to get all the way to the very end. And even though I did a stack kill at one point, which is where, you know what a stack kill is, Kieran, where you're all in a group.
I think so.
And then you kill someone when there's loads of people in the same group.
Yeah.
So
course.
no one knows who's done it. They can still report the body, but they're like, wait, you did this. No, you
yeah,
did this.
I see what you mean.
So
Because you can
I
just
very-
like you can stand from a distance and still press the kill button and they're dead.
exactly. So I very much got away with it on that one.
Doesn't your body
But
still
is it-
move though if you kill someone? Like it moves closer to the body.
What do you mean?
Like when it shows the animation on your screen of killing someone.
So if you're on the imposter screen, you kill someone and then it shows half their body getting chopped in body getting chopped in half.
But from
Right?
then,
if you're on the group, you do what's called a stack kill. You'd still see that happen, but no one knows who's done it because you're all so close together.
Ah, I see what you mean. Right. Okay, that makes sense.
So
you
I
can't
very
even
much
see
can't.
them. Yeah.
So like I said, I very much got away with that one, but it was a great laugh with Dan, and he seemed to enjoy it. And I believe he's having another one later on today, which I'm hoping to get into again.
Yeah, I absolutely think it's such like a revolutionary game, and I think the only thing that is putting me off at the moment is I see some hackers in the game. If you've seen those, where they'll prevent you from voting or some of those things. I think it's mostly on phone that I've seen it on the mobile version of it, but I've seen instances of it where you're an imposter and you'll stop the rest of them from voting, and it's just like, what is the fun in that? That doesn't get you away with it. That just puts everybody's hands tied behind their back whilst you just revel in all the glory. You don't get paid anything, so what's the point?
I know, it's just the more popular this game has become, I think the more people will try and take advantage of the system of it, and like, you know, and already there's been like sub games rather than just a straight ahead kill all the imposters. I was playing one which was like hide and seek,
Yeah.
which is basically you turn off all the comms
Ah, right.
and then you put everyone at like 2 times speed to run around, and the killers are on like really slow speed.
Ah, right.
So that's quite a fun variation of
That's
it. But yeah,
cool.
it was really a lot of fun doing it with Dan. He seemed to enjoy it, and hopefully he's going to have another one, like I said, later on today. So go and follow DM Tesseract on Twitch. This is Dan Tompkins, lead singer from Tesseract.
Yeah. I'll make
Well
sure to do
worth
that.
giving him a follow. His streams are always brilliant. Hello, Murray Man. Hello, Michael from Mosh Talks. Welcome. Yeah, it does seem a bit sus, Murray Man. That's always the way with me.
Yeah, just avoid the defeat and you'll be fine. The other way, like I've seen, you can prove that someone is not an imposter is if you, like, not just if you see them doing tasks, but you know the medbay task where it shows them scanning. If that happens, then me and Kate were playing a game earlier actually.
How does that actually work, the medbay task? Because I've done it before, right? And it scans your whole body. But
Yeah.
like, I've seen instances where people, like, all right, come with a group of us, and there's like 2 or 3 people, and they watch some person getting scanned.
Mhm.
Is it a way to reveal who the imposter is, like surreptitiously?
No, I think the only ways that you can see the imposter is obviously by guess voting, seeing if they're following you for whatever reason. They either think you're sus or you think they're sus for following you, like trying to see if you're alone or whatever. You see someone get killed right before your very eyes, or if you see them go into the vent. That's the
venting is always a bit risky. Basically, you can after you kill someone, you can go into one of the vents and then end up in a completely different room.
Yeah,
but you obviously have to be careful, because if someone sees you coming out of a vent, non-imposters can't vent. So if they see you coming out of a vent, then they immediately clocked you onto be the imposter.
Yeah.
And I've had several instances where I've tried in vain to defend myself from, even when I've been the imposter and I've tried to. But the thing is, I'm such a terrible liar as well, right?
I have my strategies, I think. I usually say where I've been or something like that, and that just puts me in like a sort of neutral position. Like I'm not lying, but I'm kind of not telling the truth.
You're telling a white lie. You're telling a white lie, which is basically, I was there.
Half truth.
Just so happened I killed someone whilst I was in there.
I'm not saying I did kill him, but if I did, this is how I would have done it. Or I do that question. It's like, well, if I was going to kill him, I would have done it already. That usually works.
Ah, yes.
The
this guy, Brian, on this stream, he immediately sussed me because I was a red player in one of the first games.
Okay.
And apparently, if you're red, you're suspected almost immediately.
Anyway, that's yeah.
But anyway, we'll probably get on to some Among Us chat. But yeah, do follow DM Tesseract, DMTESSERACT. He's the lead singer of Tesseract. He does Pro Tool sessions. He does live singing. He does games. He's a good laugh and a great lad, and we'll get on to him later on in the podcast. But anyway, should we move on to the news?
Well, I've got my own sort of thing to go through. I
think.
You
still got your story. I thought FIFA was your story. Sorry, Michael. You missed. Sorry, Michael. You missed all the FIFA chat where KB said he is getting a copy of FIFA.
No, I have
got
stream one. I've got one already.
He's got one, and he's going to stream it.
Oh yes, I feel like I can be boss in the game, and I've put together a British and Irish Lions team. So I've got that Calvert-Lewin Player of the Month card in there. I've finally got Gareth Bale on my team. I'm living a dream. I'm I'm so happy he's back in the Premier League and back in my team where he can have full chemistry. Right. So now there's some voice impressions and cartoon impressions that I do that people clock onto, and they've asked me to do them. Even my own girlfriend asks me to do the Salad Fingers voice or do the Gollum voice. Never, I never did. You know. So I've been doing, like, as you know, I've been doing those creepy PMs readings, and I've been doing them in like funny voices to mimic the creepy person in there.
Yes.
And I've posted those highlights on TikTok, and now I do video replies to people who say, you sound like this person or you sound like that person, and just do a direct impression of that person.
Yeah.
One of those has been Salad Fingers. I think I'll just do this one first, if I can. I can't actually click on the actual comment, but essentially, I just responded to this where I think I just said, well, I'll show you anyway.
Hello there. Today I'm going to be sliding into Marjorie Stewart Baxter's DMs, and I'm going to ask her to play with my rusty spoon.
Oh yes.
Oh god.
And then I didn't understand this.
Salad Fingers, that takes me back.
Hello.
That was at the dawn of the what I like to call the golden age of the internet. You know, with with Newgrounds cartoons and Flash animations and Weeble stuff. Which I loved.
Yeah, I can still remember some of the lines. It's like, this one's Hubert Cumberdale. This is Marjorie Stewart Baxter, and this is Jeremy Fisher. I like it when the red water comes out.
I mean, Weeble stuff was the site where I first saw Salad Fingers. Mr. Weeble himself is actually on Twitch as well. Believe it or not, it feels like everyone's jumping on the Twitch bandwagon nowadays. But,
yeah,
that can only be a good thing because Twitch is awesome.
Absolutely. And then the other one, someone asked me to say something, and I did not understand why he asked me to say this, but I did it anyway. Someone's asked me to say something, I'll just say screw it, I'll do it. So it was.
Hello, I don't get the reference. I don't know if it's your ex.
Oh God.
I'll see it anyway. Whitney, you're a bad girl. Why'd you shat on the floor? Bad Whitney.
Well, I hope you get paid for these. That's all I can say.
Someday. I mean, 230 even views there, 299 there, 708 there, which is old Greg from Mighty Boosh.
Old Greg.
Got them everywhere, man. It's just
I'm old Greg.
it's an absolute travesty.
I can't do impressions. I can't do impressions. I just remember.
And you see me,
Our
and you know me.
Our first download together. I just and it's probably in the vlog.
Yeah.
There's just one night where we were all super drunk, and you were doing you were doing Solid Snake, and you were doing the Mark Hamill's Joker, which was my favourite one.
Hello, operator. It appears I've been disconnected.
There we go.
Love it. That takes me back. That was a good download that year.
I think Katie's sleeping next door, by the way. So,
well, don't
Rise and
do
shine.
impressions too.
all right.
Good morning, my dear.
Good morning, Harley.
You're the yeah. You can do it way better than me.
Good morning, Jedi.
Baby, you're the greatest.
You're the greatest.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, this whole TikTok malarkey, you know, it just. I remember when I was on Vine, and I was really prominent on Vine.
Were you?
Well, I say prominent. I was like, I built like a nice little community there.
Oh yeah.
I feel like everywhere I go, I make it my mission to try and build nice communities. You know, we have that. We have, you know, the isolation group download that we're a part of. We had, we have Mosh Talks, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like spreading the love everywhere I go.
I'm a bit of a nomad when it comes to these groups. I'll come in and come out from time to time. Like I've been talkative in some more often than not, and then other times I'm just like disappear for a week, and then I just make one comment like, "Who's that?" You know.
So is it a similar thing with TikTok? Are you kind of part of a little community there, or is it more of a just post your shit and then kind of get out?
Well, I mean. It was, because, I mean, only after I posted those creepy PM videos that I started getting a few more followers. So it's kind of like that little community I like to build up for myself as well. But I think the majority of comments that I see on TikTok, I can't really relate to that much. You know, where some girl's doing a dance and then someone comments saying she belongs to the streets. I'm not a part of that at all.
No. All the sort of...
young misogynistic
I don't even
people.
Well, I don't even want to say memes, because they're like I remember this happened to Vine, where basically the popular page on Vine back in the day, it was the same iteration. It was different iterations of the same joke.
Yeah,
just one after another. You know, and that's where stuff like bruh comes from. Yeah, but they're backflip though, and all these, you know, and all these what's his name? Curtis Lepore and all that. That's where all that malarkey came from.
Absolutely.
But I was never part of the popular page on Vine. I just built like a kind of nice little community down there, and still actually friends on Facebook with someone. And even though Vine closed in like 2015 now, I think it was last on out and about. But, good times. That was during my last year of uni in particular.
Yeah,
I was quite prominent.
I don't prefer to be a community that's led by like you know, toxicity or anything like that. Like I've seen a lot of communities be like that, but I like one that's wholesome, but you know, can have some banter as well. I like that sort of community. You know, has a nice balance between things, and that's the place I'd like to be. But yeah, absolutely. So next on the agenda, we have got a few little teasers that we've had from several different bands. The first one being Holding Absence. So we've got Holding Absence's news over on Facebook that they are doing quite a few new bits and bobs. The new tour called Live and in Colour. I personally can't say much about it, but you know, what are your speculations for this, Rob?
Well, if you just scroll down on the page, the bit I was really interested in. There we go.
This one.
They posted a photo saying this was holding absence a few days ago, which led to increased speculation that they had actually they were going to disband, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously their motto has always been "This is holding absence," and the fact that it was in the sort of it was an old picture of the old band, one of the old band members, Faisal. He's a good guy actually. He plays with Loathe now, and I met him after Loathe gig in Bedford, and but yeah, there was increased speculation, and you can tell by some of the comments on this. They're like, "Oh God," please, and all the sad react emojis.
Yeah,
they were keeping their cards close to their chest, and then they were posting a bunch of videos, like very cryptic videos.
To be honest, if a band was going to break up, they wouldn't. I don't think they would go out of their way to go through all that effort just to break up. There would be a big long post or something like that. I can say free that they're not breaking up. That's totally out of it. That's not what's happening. But I can't say what is happening.
Nah. Well, we should explain that KB is he knows some of the guys from Holding Absence.
Yeah. So well, that's the most that I can say anyway.
That's the most you can say. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But there you go. Great band, Holding Absence. I like them from the moment I first heard them. Ethereal post-hardcore, I think, is the best way to describe them.
Yeah.
And Lucas is a phenomenal singer.
Mm-hmm.
And go and check him out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, the other news in terms of bands keeping their cards close to their chest, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
We have While She Sleeps. Now, this past week, they have been on a vigorous social media campaign, which again has been very cryptic and very sort of in relation to the state the music industry is in right now. I don't know if you had the video on this.
I'm not too sure, but I guess we can find it in good time. But for now, we've got the description of it. So they've announced a new song, Sleep Society. It sounds fairly similar to what they've done on So What. So they're kind of just extending on that, bringing in a bit of a new.
If I posted the Sleep Society promo video to you, then maybe we can play it on stream.
Yeah, absolutely. But for now, I'll just read this. So the Sheffield metalcore mob, While She Sleeps, have just made the ultimate album announcement, not only confirming details of their upcoming 5th record, but an entire fan base platform surrounding it as well. So Loz Taylor and co. embarking on a new chapter, with a band explaining of the Powered by Patreon initiative. So, that While She Sleeps, they've always been this sort of community-driven band. I think the You Are We album was mostly independent, wasn't it?
Well, I remember when I was working in London, I was getting the Tube. They had Tube posters saying this advert cost £1,000. We only need like 10 billion plays on Spotify to pay for this advertisement. Please buy our record, which I thought is a very unique way of self-promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the fact that, I mean, I've never really actually listened to them, to be fair. I don't know why they've eluded my my song radar for so long, but do you maybe want to turn the sound on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. But basically, this band, While She Sleeps, this is their promo campaign for their new initiative, which is a Patreon-like. Well, it is Patreon. Their Patreon account, which entitles pledges to a lot of really cool exclusive benefits, and also kind of maintains their kind of ethos of being community driven and helping the music industry to thrive and survive. So take it away.
Spacebar. Spacebar. You bastard. Spacebar.
Space.
Thank you all
So
for
many
coming.
stairs!
As you know, 3 days ago, we broadcasted a message to music listeners all over the world, marking the beginning of a new era for our band, While She Sleeps. We are building a new music industry model where the artist can survive and where the fan gets what they deserve. The two things that matter most. Together, we can take the power back and rebuild the system from the ground up. We want to be the voice for artists just like us all over the world, and we're asking for you to join us. We'll now be taking questions.
There's been a huge reaction online since the announcement, and people have been asking questions. But do you really think the fans are going to back this?
Don't ever underestimate the fans. They're the reason we're sat up here right now, and they're the reason anyone's even in this room. They have so much more power than anyone gives them credit for, so I have no doubt.
I think they're ready for change just as much as we are.
There's been a lot of speculation over the past few days about why you think you deserve to change the system. What makes you so special?
Well,
Answer
we've
Philip
lived in,
Schofield.
And we've been forced through that system for the past 14 years.
He does look like
Half
Philip
the bands that we grew up with have had to stop doing what they love simply
Oh,
because of the
wow.
way the current system operates.
You've made claims
Well,
about
detracting
streaming
from the
services
point a bit
being
there, but,
unfair on artists. Can you elaborate on that?
Look,
Well,
we're
yes,
not gonna
Mel B.
sit up here and pretend like we don't all use streaming platforms because everybody here does.
Oh my
The
God.
reality is that it takes 5,000
It's like watching a Hyper
streams
Hyper video with
to
these.
generate about 20 quid.
Barry
to the
Vensen's
artist.
let himself go.
Everyone takes their cut, management, publishing, labels. It's about making
Look,
it
we
sustainable.
can't deny the fact that music's being devalued. That's the main issue. And that's what's killing bands, and this is why we're standing up.
I think what people are trying to understand here is who exactly is this
Well, that's the
for?
thing, it's not just for us. We want to inspire artists to take this model, use it for
The
themselves.
existence of bands and artists can be funded directly by the fans.
How uncertain is the industry right now? We don't even know what the future of live music holds for us.
Give artists a little bit of hope that they don't have to stop doing what they love.
Deliver it to their fans properly and directly.
Music is always there for you. It's a language that we can all relate to, that we all speak.
Yeah, honestly, guys, I think it's a great idea. I admire tenacity, but do you think this type of model for a band is actually going to work?
Yes, Keanu Reeves. So,
Well, there you go. You get the idea anyway. So, essentially, this was all a big promotional campaign for both their new single called was it Sleep Society?
Sleep Society, yeah.
And also their Patreon account, which is also called Sleep Society, creating a sustainable future for While She Sleeps supporters and other artists, which I think is just a really cool thing to do. Some of the benefits you can get from this. So you get exclusive video content and updates, early bird access tour tickets, access to members-only event and warehouse workshops, mental health series, which I think is fantastic initiative.
Do you get discounted scalping as well, or
you get what?
Do you get discounted scalping as well, or?
I'm not sure about that, but
not that
I'm not sure that's
never
particularly
do that,
their ethos. But so as you go up the tiers, they have more and more incredible benefits, like instrumental versions of songs, unheard demos and lost ideas, a back patch, regular ancient demos, personal writing videos, voice notes, access to in-person songwriting, which I think is amazing.
Nice.
But they've already got 1,696 patrons.
Nice.
I'm hoping it's going to stay at that number because obviously nice is in the middle of that number.
Nice.
But there you go. So that is While She Sleeps, Sleep Society. And I encourage you to at least look at this Patreon account and just see what While She Sleeps are doing and what sort of helpful, sustainable stuff they're doing to help the music community.
Okay, brilliant. Sorry, I'm getting
And
distracted
on that
by
note,
stupid pop-up thing. But on that note, we're going to go on to the most important thing that if we don't talk about it, the world could end without us knowing. So we definitely need some patrons for this. And it is
yes,
the
and
ultimate...
we would also like your opinions in Twitch chat on this matter as well.
Yes. Are Jaffa Cakes biscuits or cakes? All bets in. And whilst...
Right, cakes. Let's move on. Next question.
Okay, let me just ask this legal expertise woman. Yes. Hang on. Let me just. Oh, actually, it's a bit cropped out from the screen. I'll tell you what I'll do. Can I do that? Nope. Okay, that does not work. Oh yes, it does. Does it? No. No. Okay, no, it doesn't. That's totally.
You can tell. You can tell
inadequate.
that this was very much a last-minute preparation. We're talking
Okay.
about Biscuit.
Let me just take myself off here so you can see what I'm doing. So there you go, typing in my answer right there. Kieran, or KB for short. Let me. What would you like to progress? Yeah, sure. I'm trying.
There's actually a site for this.
Oh yes. What should we go for? Commercial property law, employment law, conveyancing, commercial and business, family law. Well, my family does disagree that they're cakes, but so please share. My
This is actually a thing.
Yeah, I went onto this website to try and just get an article for Jaffa Cakes, and then I just get legal expertise, so got to use that to my advantage. So I'm saying my family cakes. My family are cakes. Help me. My family thinks Jaffa Cakes are biscuits, and I didn't know who else to turn to. Please help.
Right, whilst you're doing all
Okay.
this, we got some very interesting shouts in the chat here. So Michael says cakes. Next question. I agree. Scurvy says Jaffa Cakes are cookies. At least they are in the Netherlands. That's interesting.
I personally think they are miniature pies, but
well, I know you do, but you're a massive troll. Michael also says we'll get onto that in a minute, Michael. Just a small matter of Jaffa Cake chat. Murray Man says cakes. Stephen Fry said so. Yes, on QI, Stephen Fry said that when a biscuit goes stale, it goes soft, whereas when a cake goes stale, it goes hard. When Jaffa Cakes go stale, they go hard. So therefore, they must be a cake. End of argument. What on earth are you doing? Shall we just... No! What are you doing?
It's asking me to enter personal details. I ain't doing that.
Oh God, we're gonna be cancelled for this, aren't we? We're gonna be shut down.
No, it's okay. It's just a
what
random
was
thought.
that?
Sorry.
What are you doing to us? Trying to deconstruct and destabilize our podcast bit by bit.
It's okay. I'll just say it was. I'll backtrack and say it was wrong, and then all will be right with the world again.
So Murray Man and Scurvy have got discussing. So Scurvy says it's in the name Jaffa Cakes. I agree. So Murray, the word cookie originally comes from a Dutch word, and Scurvy confirms it that cookie in Dutch is. Oh, I'm not going to try and pronounce this. Sorry, my Dutch is awful. Koekje, Koekje, which is basically the same thing.
KB Koekje. Oh yeah.
Rob, that explains why Jaffa Cakes are so hard around here. Oh, they all stale then, your Jaffa Cakes. That's you've got a raw deal there, Scurvy. But I would like to put to the chat what your favourite biscuit is, just to detract from that nonsense that KB was trying to get on.
No, it never happened, mate. Never happened. They didn't do anything.
It's pronounced Koekje. Okay, that makes sense. Fair enough. So, KB, favorite Jaffa Cakes. Obviously, Jaffa Cakes are all our favourites, but favourite biscuits. This is an integral topic which has come up multiple times on Mosh Talks.
Okay.
And I would like to spread it out into the Kieran Benji community.
All right. So, top three. In no particular order. Jammy Dodgers. Chocolate hobnobs.
Oh, shout.
And custard creams.
Custard cream. Yeah. See, you make a lot of friends with chocolate hobnobs. I don't know if Bees loves custard creams.
Well, I guess Bees isn't getting any custard creams.
How many of those do you like dunk in tea?
Every single one.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Well, even Jammy Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If it's
I think there's enough flavour for it already without it being.
If it's a biscuit, you can sink it.
Well, some are more dunkable than others, aren't they?
Just don't put Dairy Dunkers in tea.
Chocolate hobnobs is a great shout, to be fair. Michael says chocolate hobnobs, original digestives, bourbons in that order.
Nice.
Original digestives is a shout. They are underrated.
I remember I always used to go into my great grandmother's and going, "Oh, Nan, have you got any jammy Dodgers?" No, love. I'll show you what I got. Oh, yes, you've got hobnobs. Oh, custard creams. Oh, bourbons. I got some rich teas. What? Who even eats rich teas?
I mean, if the rich tea is offered to me, I won't say no.
I reluctantly say yes.
They were always the biscuit. Whenever I'd go to my mum's, my mum does jazzercise. Whenever I go to one of her classes and I'd be sitting, like, just waiting for her to finish, there would always be packets of rich teas that I'd get through. So, I'm having a rich tea. Scurvy. I've had Stroop waffles. He says that his favourite biscuit cookies are Stroop waffles, a Dutch standard. Actually, back in the day, back in the glorious days when I actually went into London to work, we can't do that anymore, obviously. We would have days where a lot of members of my company would come back from holiday and they'd bring back treats for us to get our noses into, and one of them was Stroop waffles, and they're sort of like they're waffles, right? But they're kind of very syrupy and they're a weird texture. They're almost kind of like in the pink fingers that you get.
Oh, what, the Pink Panther wafers?
The Pink Panther wafers, yeah.
Oh, yes, that is an honourable mention for me. I forgot about those.
Yeah, Pink Panther wafers, they're more those biscuits that you get at sort of children's parties, kind of laid out along with party rings.
Yeah, I think, like, thing with those sorts of biscuits, they don't really easily crumble, do they? Unless you got the strength of the Incredible Hulk or something. But there's definitely tougher biscuits out there.
See, Murray Man, I reckon Jammy Dodgers are quite highly rated because of their appearance in Doctor Who. There were like Matt Smith's favourite biscuit, his incarnation of the Doctor's favourite biscuit or something. So they've actually crossed over to America because Doctor Who's a massive thing in America.
This is how rated like digestive style biscuits are. Whenever your family bought McVitie's crackers boxes from Sainsbury's or whatever, how many days or hours were going to last until all the Hovis ones were gone?
Hovis did what, biscuits?
In the or was it Family Circle? One of those. You had
you mean
cracker
the
sets.
big tins you'd get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hovis was always the first one to go because they're actually, like the other crackers, they're dry. They don't have as much flavour. Whereas you've also got the cheesy circles, whatever they're called. I can't remember. Like the Tuck biscuits.
Yeah. It would always be a killer when you'd open one of those biscuit tins, like one of those shortbread tins that you get, and you'd find like sewing equipment in there.
Oh yeah, you'd be like,
that was always a killer.
Well, time to stab myself in the neck. Woohoo!
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's all right. I'm gonna
no,
go...
no, hang on a minute. I haven't gone through my top biscuits.
Oh yeah,
yet.
you haven't. Sorry, I
sorry, I got distracted by the chat. So the thing is, right, since I've been working in London, and since I've been consuming a lot of biscuits and stuff, and my standards have kind of risen. So I guess some of the cookies you get from M&S would be up there, right?
All right.
Just showing how middle class I am right now.
Yeah, that's cool.
White chocolate cookies in particular from M&S. They're always great, especially after you've been on the piss and you're coming home from London.
Just don't piss on the biscuits.
No.
Don't want any soggy biscuits.
I would say any form of shortbread, any form of those shortbread you get in Tesco with like chocolate chips in are just amazing. And Belgian chocolate, Tesco finest.
Nice.
With dark chocolate, white chocolate. I just love chocolate.
Yeah. I've talked about Aldi before. What are those ones? The Viennese shortbreads, or what are they called? The Viennese
my
fingers.
god,
Those are,
yes. Viennese whirls are heavenly. They are underrated.
All right.
You always see them going for like 60p or something in Tesco.
I can't.
And I'm like, that is far too low a price for golden biscuits like that.
That's the thing.
you know?
You get like these McVitie's biscuit packs, and they're like £2.50 or something like that. But you go all over the way to the bakery aisle, and you'll see the massive flapjack boxes for like £2. And you're like, yes, this is what I want. This is the good stuff. I mean, flapjacks I absolutely love. I even love, like, the Rice Krispie cakes, or, we're going a bit off Jaffa Cakes now and just talking about biscuits in general.
Well, I did want to gauge what everyone's favourite biscuit was, to be fair.
All right. Well, we can kind of talk about the cake side of it with top three favourite cakes.
What sort of cakes are we talking? Like big, massive cakes, muffins, or like
anything? Absolutely anything.
Well, you can't beat a good old blueberry muffin for me.
Yeah, I do
a
like
nice
one,
yeah. Not those cheap ones,
Yeah. I love my cheesecake. It's absolutely absolutely love cheesecake.
Vanilla cheesecake, like a very nice, rich sort of white New York style cheesecake with a good biscuit base.
I go for more the lemon cheesecake for me. I love.
Oh, lemon's good as well.
Yeah, I love lemon flavors. The kind of cakes I'm not that into, like birthday cakes with the icing on. I don't like icing. It tastes sickly to me. But I do like the jam inside. I'll give it that. So everybody else can have a mountain full of icing in the corner, and I'll just be there munching on the insides.
Yeah, red velvet cake's an interesting one, Scurvy. I don't know. Have you? I mean, I've had it a couple of times. I just don't know. It's a bit
sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, this is cake we're talking about.
I like how tangy it is, but I don't know. I wouldn't go out of my way to get one.
Yeah. But
it's usually when you put red velvet into other things rather than cakes. Like if they're like a kind of, if they're in a biscuit, for example, or if they're in like I don't know, if they're anything but cakes, really.
Yeah. Have you heard of the pub chain Green King by any chance?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So we got one a pub down the road, Cedar Tree, and they had, for one of the desserts, they had this chocolate cake, but I think it had like on the top these little Mars bars, and like the richness of the chocolate inside. It was like, how is this even like a proportionate dessert? It's more than that. It's insane what you got for that price, and I just like those kinds of chocolate cakes. I absolutely love.
Man, you know what? I've just I was going to get onto brownies, which made me forget about a prominent biscuit that is underrated, which is Lotus.
Lotus? I haven't heard much of Lotus.
You don't know much about Lotus.
The only thing I've heard about Lotus is tissues. That's about it.
No, it's a brown sugar.
Yeah.
And like caramel or something. It's amazing, whatever it is, basically. Because my sister just made some chocolate brownies with a Lotus Biscoff spread on top, and it's just honestly. Also,
nice.
Anything peanut related in cakes or biscuits, and
Oreo. Cakes, yeah.
Oreo is a great shout, Murray, man.
I do have a bit of a liking to those walnut coffee cakes that you have. Like, as long as the coffee's not too strong, don't get me wrong. Like a bag,
I don't know,
like a bag of Revels or something.
Coffee flavored? No, coffee. I'm a funny one with coffee. I don't think it should be in like these sorts of biscuits or cake products.
Just don't put pineapple on your cake.
No, you can't go wrong with a pineapple upside down cake, to be fair.
Nah.
Yeah, but so Murray Man, he said he used to be a chef and he'd make an Oreo cheesecake that looked like an Oreo with a base on top and bottom.
Nice.
Oh my word, that sounds heavenly.
Right. Well, Murray Man, we've got a few vacancies going in my flat. So if you want to, if I hand you a CV, then feel free to jump on board.
Yeah, if you want to be Kieran's personal pastry chef, then you can whisper him after this.
Yeah, I won't shout at you like Gordon Ramsay. I promise that. I'll just shout in
no.
this room rather than the kitchen.
Yeah. Lotus is another Dutch country. It's called Spekeloos. I'm going to have to visit Holland at some point. Sorry, Netherlands at some point. You seem to have great taste in everything.
Absolutely. I remember.
I've never been to the Netherlands. But there you go.
I remember they have a lot more common sense than us as well. I remember watching Steve Hughes' stand-up in the Apollo, and he was on about how there's not really much science to say beware of falling into the river. But in Britain you have, they're like, don't go in the water. But if you fall into the river, it's like, oh, I didn't see the sign. But over there, it's like, oh, you wet, are you? Well, you're on the wrong bit, mate.
Yeah. We're not going to get started on the pineapple on pizza debate, Scurvy, don't worry.
That's been done to death, and that's because I killed it.
Yeah. Shall we move on?
Absolutely. Okay.
I think we've pretty much covered biscuits in their entirety. But yeah, thank you for your submissions on Twitch.
Okay.
Chat, guys. Appreciate it.
But I think it's a good segue into because we did this as like a last news segment last time, or special segment, the Reddit stories. And we want to continue that because last week we did the saddest celebrity encounters, courtesy of Rob. Thank you, Rob. And this week we've had a look at some other posts, and on my YouTube channel I usually do like readings, like I mentioned previously about the creepy PMs. But we want to see what people have answered in terms of Ask Reddit. So we've gone into another post, and we have picked up one that says, "What is normal where you live, but would be considered crazy anywhere else?" So, do we have anything that we can answer ourselves to begin with?
What is normal where I live? Actually, you know what? It's funny. I was looking this up the other day.
Yeah.
One of my mates on Facebook made what is called a chocolate toothpaste.
A chocolate toothpaste?
Which is actually a Bedford-based delicacy, right? It's a type of tart, right? And it basically, I don't really know much about it, but like you can only really find it in Bedford or the Bedfordshire area. It's kind of exclusive to there. But just the name alone kind of makes you a bit off-put by it, because no one really wants to eat anything after brushing their teeth.
I don't like. I've got strawberry laces here, right? I don't think my first instinct with this would be to go
use them as toothpicks.
Yeah, and now I need to visit the dentist.
Apparently, I mean, there's some recipes for it, but it contains short crust pastry, caster sugar, butter, skimmed milk powder, cocoa powder, hot chocolate powder, and warm water. So there's actually no it doesn't seem to be any actual mint in it, which you'd think chocolate toothpaste. I think it's called that because of the texture of the thing itself, rather than it containing any mint at all. But I've never tried one myself, but it is apparently a Bedfordshire staple. I imagine that would be crazy anywhere else, having something called a toothpaste tart.
Okay, well, in my area, or even my country, we've got slang that would just mean different things in other parts of the world. Like, you know what the Welsh slang for mate is, right?
The Welsh slang for mate?
Yeah.
No.
How you doing, butt? You right?
Oh, yeah, I know butt.
Butt is like a bum, but for us, it's mate. And sometimes you can in Messenger or something you can spell it BAHT, but usually it's referring to BUTT.
Oh, but
all right, but how's it going?
Yeah.
Or asking the same question.
Where does that come from? But what's the etymology of that word?
I don't know. That would have to be something that I would have to look up. I think
you're in kindergarten or nursery, and everyone was just calling each other butt, and you were just like, yeah, I'll go along with this.
Oh, can I sniff your butt? No. Yes. No. All right. Okay. I found something that is originating, but before I go into that, another thing is when we ask the same question twice in one sentence. Like, all right, how's it going? All right.
Yes. I do.
Or saying,
I love you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the redundant statements like, I'll be there now in a minute.
I tell you what, if you want a great example of Welsh vernacular, you should go and watch KB's video from BBC Sesh on it was a sketch that he did, which was based on the movie Drive, but it was What If Drive was Welsh.
Let me have a look if I can see that as well. If Drive, BBC,
it is very funny.
Drive. I think so. There's that one. Here we go. Got it.
Yes, it is.
If I drive for you, you give me a time and a place, and I'll be there now in a minute. Any nonsense, and I'm gone. I don't sit and wait. I don't go to the valleys. I don't give change.
He's a man who won't change. Sorry,
my eyes are watering looking at this.
Give change.
You just clocked on, Drive?
Nope. Been here a while.
Been busy tonight? Busy? You've been busy tonight? Busy tonight?
A man who doesn't know which direction to take.
When I get my money, I'll unlock the door. You're never coming near this taxi again.
A man who's seen it all.
Right, whose money do I have then? That's my money, Drive, all ones and twos. No need
I love this character. Tidy.
Any airport runs
Cheers,
to Bristol,
Drive is the best.
any end-do bookings for tomorrow, you're going to have to put on hold. For the rest of your life, you're going to be looking over your shoulder.
Only when I reverse.
Only when I reverse.
Cheers, Only when I reverse.
Cheers, Drive. Drive. Cheers, Drive.
Why can't anyone just say thanks? Drive. Also coming soon, the Speedy and the Tamping.
Oh, but let's have the starting line at the back of Philco in Sarn, is it?
That is the most Welsh thing I've ever heard. That last sentence. You're going to have to explain some of that. What is the Speedy and the Tamping?
That's a parody of the Fast and Furious, as you got.
But is it a Welsh thing? Tamping? Well, I've never heard of tamping.
Oh, tamping is like I'm annoyed. I'm pissed off. Tamping. Oh, but I'm so tamping by that.
I've never heard of that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's quite a new one, but it was talked about when I was in school. But here we go. The phrase "butt" or "butty" originates from the industrial era of Wales, and it was primarily used by miners who literally worked butt to butt to support.
It was used by miners.
It's always miners, isn't it?
Get more stereotypically Welsh.
It's always bloody miners to support one another because of narrow surroundings. So yeah, that's that's a new one for me. I've never really been bothered to look it up, but I'm happy with that.
Sorry, the last sentence in that sketch, the Philco's in the back of Sarn.
Oh,
isn't it?
right, okay. So
you're gonna have to explain that as well.
Yeah, so Philco Foods is a supermarket in Sarn, but it's like a native supermarket to Wales, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's
fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it's changed though. I can't remember what it is now, but have you ever heard of Nisa?
Nisa.
Okay, that must be a Welsh origin one as well. I don't know. It was weird because when I moved to Kent, I think I dropped a bit of my Welsh accent, and I remember meeting someone on a night out, and she asked if I was Irish, and I just went, yeah.
Oh no! Michael raises an interesting point. What do we all call a cob?
Cob.
Now I know cob is very much a kind of Nottinghamshire / Northern expression for a bread roll. I just call it a roll, personally.
What, as in
bread roll?
Butty. Yeah,
butty. Of course you call it a butty.
A chip butty. And then if you have chips and rice with your curry, then you say, "Can I have an half and half?"
Half and half. I
half
like
and
that.
Half. Yeah, simple, effective. Can't go wrong. So with saying that, we best get on to answer the question from what are popular answers from this particular thing.
we kind of digressed a bit there. Sorry, but that was fun.
But
definitely get into more Welshisms in the future.
Yeah,
for sure.
So the first one is still being in the same house as your parents after marriage, also with kids. I would only think that is like a thing here if you just need to save up a bit, before actually finding somewhere new. But I've never. I can't.
I imagine that's a big thing in like America.
Possibly.
Like maybe in places where like Utah, where polygamy is a thing, and like I don't know. Like I can't really speak. You know, this might come. I don't want to put my foot in any hot water, so I'll just leave it at that. But I feel like it could be a thing.
Yeah,
definitely. I can understand that.
Yeah, so I can understand that. Scrolling down, I live in New Jersey, and it's illegal here for you to pump your own gas or fuel. All stations are full service by law. I believe Oregon is the only other state in USA that has this law. I mean, just that in itself, assisting with pumping. Over here, it's all your own responsibility. You go up to the pump, you fill it up, you either put your card in or pay at the kiosk, and then you go on your way. You don't need anybody helping you with that because we very keep to ourselves, us Brits, don't we? When it comes to
just
doing
going
our own
back to the
tasks.
Welshisms for a sec, pump is a number in Welsh, isn't
Pimp,
it?
yes, 5. If
It's
you've watched,
five,
if
yeah.
you've watched any of my top 10s, I do all my countdowns.
Yeah, he does all of his
Welsh.
countdowns in Welsh, which
Big,
is brilliant.
nawr,
Learn something new
wyth,
every day.
Saith, chwech, pimp,
yes,
pedwar, 3, 2, 1.
And I like the sort of the South Park Canadian animation next to it of your head.
I'm
with
glad
the mouth coming up and down.
I'm glad I haven't done a top 100 yet because do you know what number 100 would be?
What?
Cunt!
Seriously?
Yeah, CANT, but you know, if you put that into Alexa, it'd sound like something else.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Right,
I'd just be demonetized all the time if I just did top 100s.
We are so close to getting demonetized and cancelled. The amount of
No,
stuff
I said it in
we're talking
Welsh.
about-
So that'll just be our safe.
Yeah, no, that's the loophole.
Up to 22. There's two ways of saying 22. There's Indag Die or I can't remember the other one. But there's two ways of like saying 11 and 12. There's Inardeg or there's Indegin, which I think I can't remember what ways you use them. But let me introduce you to Britain. Okay, close to my heart. For one, it's illegal to have locking pump handles. What's pump handles again? I feel. What are pump handles? I forgot. I know I sound dumb, but
on the plus side, you need to prepay. You don't need to prepay.
For what now?
You can just yes, that's a weird thing that I've always thought. You put the card in to the pump first, and then you pump the petrol into your car.
Oh, right, I see what you mean. But the thing is, you can't use a card that has, from what I've seen, you can't use a card that has £100 in it because the maximum is £100. So
I've never gone up that far personally. The most I've put in is probably like 30 quid. Every time.
I put in like about 50. I think my car goes up to like 55 quid and then it stops.
Yeah, but my car is a diesel as well.
Yeah,
so
mine is as well.
It's quite. It's not as hungry as my previous car was. My previous car was a regular unleaded.
Yeah, but then this person replies saying, then you forget which number you used and you get to the counter. Well, to be honest, most of the times now, they remember your number for you from my experience. So you just like...
I still got... I rarely go up to a person at the counter now.
Yeah.
Like they said, you can do it at the pump yourself and pay for it at the pump and then just get on your merry way. It's only if I ever want a Star Bar or anything like that from the...
what country is that person in?
What? What?
I'm okay.
Well,
you get him, Robin. You get him, Robin.
In terms of how sort of involved are we talking?
As long as
are we talking like physically involved, or are we talking like advice?
Yeah,
you know?
like that. I advice is fine. You know, like go out, talk to them, blah blah blah. That's fine. But like, right now I'm gonna evaluate your performance. So lie on the bed now. No, just no. Mum, turn the camera off. Okay. Free public transport in the whole country. Buses, trains, trams. Well, that's...
Oh, man. Now, I don't know where this person is from, but I want to move there.
Luxembourg. Luxembourg. Okay. Let's go to there.
I could go to town on public transport. I tell you, like I am. One of the great things about working from home during this period,
Yeah, I
is
did.
that I don't have to pay for a bloody annual rail card that cost me $5,500.
Yeah, I did have a country in mind for the previous one, but Murray Man already said it, and that was India. But I wanted to keep that as the elephant in the room. Didn't do a great job of that by mentioning it now, but and then the last one before we, or if we've got any more people who are driving 12 to 14 driving tractors on the road in rural Ireland, the legal minimum age is 16. I don't.
Now Murray Man, you can talk to us about this because I believe you're from Ireland.
Yeah.
So I would like confirmation on this one.
I just hate tractors on the road, full stop. To be honest, worse than cyclists. Actually, no, I wouldn't say that. There was a time when I almost ran over a cyclist because the sun was blinding me from one side, and it was exactly where the cyclist was, and I just saw him. I was like, "Fah!" So that was not one I'd like to relive. South Africa. I live next to a game reserve in South Africa. It's not that surprising to hear baboons in your backyard or spot a rhino 10 meters from your fence.
That makes sense.
One time, a whole troop of baboons ran over our roof. It's only corrugated iron, and we all shat our pants. Monkey on the house! F off!
I mean, it's scary enough when you're driving through a safari park and the monkeys in the safari park get on your roof. I think it's going to cave in. But bloody hell, corrugated roof.
Some people would get their guns ready at that, but let's.
But yeah, so Murray Man's going to confirm for us. In the meantime, Michael says my car drinks petrol like I drink whiskey. Fair point noted. Also, Scurvy says a trope around my region is going abroad to get your gas cheaper.
Really?
Wow, that's by the time you drive there, you would need an extraordinary amount of gas anyway, and then to get back afterwards. I don't know.
I mean, I've run out.
Seems a bit counterproductive, Scurvy.
I mean, I'm all out of red diesel, so No, I'm joking.
And Murray Man also says that he has on the subject of bread rolls, he has Blas flour bread. They're very specific to my county in Ireland. They can only be called Blas if they're made in that town due to some EU culture protection order. Interesting. So sort of localized, very much a localized kind of municipal bread.
People carrying around M16s in the streets without a second look. America, is it? Or
it has to be.
No, I think it looks not Israel. Yeah, someone said USA.
Yeah, someone said USA. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it?
Okay, Japan. Over 100 people lined up at staggered for social distancing at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. First 100 get a ticket. At 10:30, we all line up again. One at a time, we draw a number, 1 to 5. Then we go over to a big basin of the best quality of rice and take as many scoops as the number we drew. You are encouraged to then make each scoop heaping. This is not a food bank thing, just the promise of good rice draws a crowd.
I'll tell you what, Japan is a fascinating place.
I would love to go to Japan one day.
In terms of just the cultural differences they have over there, I would love to visit someday, potentially.
Oh, absolutely. Not wearing a mask and social distancing. Hello from New Zealand, yeah. Well, they did that pretty successfully anyway,
Actually, just from my own personal perspective, I went to Morocco a few years ago, and on the roads, basically, they don't care if you're like there's no pavements in Marrakesh, right? So you have to basically wall hug in order to not get hit by traffic. And the people, like, there's so much traffic there, it's obscene. And people on mopeds just ride down like the center of like alleyways and stuff, like not even roads.
Yeah,
and they just you have to be very careful there not to.
It's just
get
when
run
I see,
over.
It's when I see, like, it doesn't happen as much over here, but when I look at videos in America, and now we've got the law which states you have to wear a face mask in a shop or a closed area, public area. But in America, when it happened, people coming up with all the excuses. I have rights, or I have a medical problem whatsoever. I'm like, you look at my face mask and it's the no touchy one, and sometimes it gets caught in my mouth. But you know what? If that is the law, that is the law. It's not about I
don't want to get into the
Yeah, that's just the only thing
I don't want to say mask debate because that sounds quite dodgy, but but you know what I mean. I'd rather keep that out of here for now.
Yeah, that's
Murray
fine.
Man, he's confirmed. He says, "Yeah, I'm a fairly big city for Ireland, but there's a lot of farms on the outskirts and a lot of tractors around. At our graduation balls, the amount of lads and girls who turn up on tractors in full formal dress is unreal. That's amazing."
Oh wow.
to graduation, but some girl in a really, really nice, some Colleen in a really nice dress, and just climbing out of this massive JCB. That image is hilarious.
I will say, someone I used to date actually told me that they did the you know what on a tractor, because it was like, where's the weirdest place? And I was like, well, I don't think I've heard anything other than that. But yeah, that's just one to throw in there. But
awesome.
But that's I think that's about it for all those insane stories. We've gone through a lot of different countries and all that kind of stuff.
And sorry about the mask thing, but we do try to encourage ourselves to keep it, this podcast as light as possible. Because,
I think
the real world's not very nice at the moment, and I like to think we're a bit of light-hearted relief, shall we say?
Absolutely.
From all of that stuff.
And then when something like, some important thing that happens, we do want to cover it to some degree, but it's mainly football news. Which, speaking of football news,
love it. Great segue. Love it.
So transition, close that, open that. So this is more around the sort of the financial things of football, and trying to keep the big teams on the top and things like that. And this, I don't know how many of you have heard about this, but the whole Project Big Picture, which has now essentially been scrapped. But I think, Rob, you've looked into more of this than I have. So
yes,
do you want to fill in?
So this article is from bbc.co.uk/sports, and it's basically Mikel Arteta's take on Project Big Picture. Mikel Arteta, of course, Arsenal manager. He says clubs must help each other make football more sustainable. They unanimously agreed on Wednesday that the proposals endorsed by Big Picture will not be endorsed or pursued. Southampton boss Ralph Hasen, who said the plans would make the league boring and remove the chance of anyone doing a Leicester.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's my
doing a
argument
Leicester,
as well.
obviously, for a lowlier club winning the league, that will just eradicate any chance of that happening.
Aston Villa, can't shock the world again or anything like that.
Everton are doing amazingly well at the moment. If they win the league, that would be a shock to me. The Spaniard believes clubs have an obligation to protect the lower leagues and grassroots football. That can make the game sustainable, and we still evolve regarding the context we are in at the moment, which is important as well. It's different to what it was 20 years ago. We had to move. We had to share a vision to achieve that at the end of the day for the benefit of everyone. The plans that were proposed by Liverpool and Man U were rejected at meetings of the 20 clubs in England's top flight, who instead agreed to work together on a new strategic plan for the financing of English football. They also decided on a £50 million rescue package for League One and League Two clubs. I love that these Premier League clubs, they haven't forgotten about the lower leagues and the more grassroots, less sustainable clubs, because for my mind, even though I'm a fan of a Premier League team, there is nothing like going to a lowlier team's ground. I have been to Matlock FC a couple of times, and it's always a fantastic day because of they're very humble roots. They still have a tea bar with amazing sausage rolls there. They have a very lovely picturesque view of the Peak District from this stadium, which I think a lot of clubs, you have these horrendous big corporate monstrosities where you just can't see anything but just the rest of the stand. Whereas this one, this and I believe Braga have built their stadium on the side of a mountain, right? So you can see all these mountains, and I just love picturesque stadiums like that, and that's something that I feel like should be preserved. But the big picture proposals, anyway, we have the list. Down here. What they propose for Project Big Picture. the Premier League would be cut from 20 to 18 clubs, with the Championship, League One, and League Two each retaining 24 teams. Now, immediately, I don't like that idea.
I don't know why the change is needed, to be honest, because it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. The 20 is just a nice round number, and it's a nice, and it would make it less competitive at the end of the day as
Absolutely.
well. And you would never have instances where a team like from the playoffs, like Fulham. I mean, Fulham is a bad example because they're doing horrendously at the moment. But any upset that Fulham might have on the cards, like beating Man City or Liverpool later on, then that would be off the cards thanks to this, because the playoffs just wouldn't. The bottom two teams in the Premier League relegated automatically, with the 16th place team join the Championship playoffs. That's just.
I don't get that one. I'm trying to
doesn't
wrap
make
my
any
head around
sense.
that one. So what was it? Bottom two teams relegated automatically.
So the 16th place team in the Premier League would join the Championship playoffs. That is so horrendously unfair to the Championship teams, because it's a Premier League team going into Championship playoffs.
That doesn't make any sense. The whole idea is to let the Championship teams play off against each other so that they can have a chance at that promotion. It's like, who's gonna get this new job at your firm? Is it gonna be your current manager at the same level of his, or is it gonna be the person below him? It's like, who's got the more experience, sort of thing. That just does not make sense. The League Cup and Community Shield abolished.
Now I'm almost in agreement with this one, because they have been kind of competitions that haven't been taken super seriously.
Which one's the League Cup again? Sorry, I know that's a stupid
well,
question.
the League Cup is basically the FA Cup.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
But it changes brands every 10 years.
Yeah,
so
at the moment it's Emirates,
at the moment
isn't
it's called the Carabao Cup.
Oh
And
no,
then before that it was the Carling Cup, and then before that was the Worthington Cup. And
the only thing I can say about those things is it really does stack up the team's schedule. Like, because you haven't got just the FA Cup and the Emirates. The EFL Cup. You've got the Europa, you've got the Premier League, and then you've got Champions League. All into one, and that can really stack things up.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Parachute payment scrapped. 250 million rescue fund made immediately available to all English Football League and 25% of all future TV deals. £100 million paid to the Football Association to make up for lost revenue, and 9 clubs given special voting rights based on their long time in the Premier League.
Deal breaker for me.
I think that was the deal breaker for a lot of people, to be fair. The elitism involved in determining football clubs' fates, essentially.
Like how
I think was just absolutely scandalous.
As if they're not on top already, and then this is just going to make them even more.
And we both say these
controllable.
as fans of top 6 teams.
I mean, I'm even criticizing my own club over this, because this is not, like, at least I saw in the press conference with Spurs against West Ham that Mourinho was even against this proposal as well, and it looks like Arteta's in disagreement with it also. So, hats off to both those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently, the 50 million rescue package that I mentioned earlier was rejected. So, thanks for keeping me up to date on that, Michael. That's a shame. I do hope that Premier League teams can give some, because they're just such large multi-billion pound international conglomerates, funded by Russian oil oligarchs and Saudi Arabians and stuff. I'm hoping that one day what Tottenham did for Leyton Orient, when they, I very much admired Tottenham for that, and I don't say it often. For what was it? They something to do with the shirt selling. A bunch of Tottenham fans bought Leyton Orient shirts.
Yeah,
for as a sort of penance for their fixture being cancelled.
I'm even using.
I think it was a top
on
move
on my FIFA 21 at the moment, because I always liked. I always had a soft spot for Leyton Orient, and I'm a person as well. Like, despite the team that I support, I do have a soft spot for a few other teams. Like, I do like Leicester, and I do like watching Southampton from time to time, and teams like that as well. So I haven't watched a Cardiff City game in a while, though. That's the only downside. But there's not much to watch at the moment.
But anyway, in essence, I'm reading the rest of the article. So these plans would have made the league boring. Southampton manager Hasenhüttl said he was not surprised by that the proposals were rejected. It's short thinking because maybe you get immediately a little bit more money or a better advantage for yourself. But in the end, it ends up a league that has maybe one champion for the next 9 years. Like in Germany or in Italy or in Scotland or in
Spain,
etc., etc. Well, Spain is kind of competitive.
I don't know, but
compared to Germany, Bayern have just blitzed it for these, and Juventus have just blitzed Italy for the last few years.
Absolutely,
and PSG are blitzing Ligue 1 for the last few years.
That's why these leagues themselves aren't regarded as like the absolute best leagues in the world, because you can't consider.
I think with the exception of a few leagues here and there internationally, it's already happened.
Yeah, I just mean you can't really consider a league like the best league in the world if like just the top 4 or 3 teams in them are absolutely spectacular and go into the Champions League all the time. I think it's more of a collective. These teams, it's very unpredictable. I think that's why the Premier League, is usually regarded as, the highest earning league in the world in that sense.
Well, anything can happen in the Premier League, which is. It's Hasenhüttl says the reason why Premier League is so famous is because it's the most competitive in the world. A 7-2 result from Aston Villa against Liverpool is what makes this league so interesting. This is what nobody wants to miss.
Yeah, and it's like Rodrigo, for example. He was in Valencia and he was competing against like Barcelona and Real Madrid, and then he wanted to. Then he moved to Leeds. That sort of thing, and Leeds is still doing pretty well, and I think they've had quite a bit of backing to keep themselves up in the Premier League, so that's also good.
So anyway, just kind of in summary, really, it was this project Big Picture has pretty much been a massive failure in every asset, really, and I'm glad that they've kind of decided not to go through with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just want to move on to some of the more contentious football issues. VAR, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where to start with it this week. It literally, what I saw in the Liverpool-Everton game yesterday has got to be, since VAR was implemented, the worst decision I've ever seen.
Absolutely. I mean...
And I'm not saying it with any hyperbole, right? Essentially, it was 2-2, and there were a lot of contentious decisions in that game, to be fair. Pickford basically almost broke Van Dijk in half, right? And now Van Dijk is supposedly going to be out for 8 months because of that. I'm not sure if we've had it confirmed yet.
Well, there goes my FPL.
beIN Sports, actually, were running that story. But he should have... That was an absolutely outrageous tackle. Right?
Yeah.
And then later on in the game, Richarlison on Thiago could have broken his legs. And that was a straight red, to be fair, which was good on Michael Oliver for that. But that was an absolutely scandalous challenge as well. The thing that got me, though, was the climax of the game, whereby Henderson scored the winning goal for Liverpool in the 91st minute. And inexplicably, it went to VAR. Right? And I was like, clearly it's a goal. There's nothing clear and obvious about this offside here. And then even more inexplicably, they disallowed it. Because I don't even know. I still can't. I don't know if you want to bring the picture of Mane's offside up on the screen.
I'm trying to find it, yeah. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. That one right there.
So essentially...
where? Like, where?
It's if there's anything clear and obvious about that offside from Mane, who's in the foreground there, most foreground player, then I would love to hear your thoughts on that, because he's just not, is he?
No, absolutely. Like, no shoulder in line, foot in line. You know,
the whole armpit rule. But his armpit's not offside.
No, it's like everything looks as if it's. I could like. I just can't see it. Like the thing. The problem,
there's no words. There's no words needed. Really.
But that's the problem. Is if it's inconclusive, why are they disallowing the goal? Why is it not the other decision to say it's inconclusive? We'll give the goal, because I think that, in my personal opinion, that's what it should be.
I don't know what happened there, really. I mean, I don't know whether it was a Michael Oliver. What really should happen is Premier League refs should have more power of overruling VAR decisions.
If there's nothing to call, then don't call it.
Because basically, let's face it, we're stuck with this VAR thing for the foreseeable future. It's not going away, I don't think, which is really irritating when decisions like that happen. But something has to be implemented to make sure, So Michael was saying, if VAR introduced a rule where they had a maximum of 30 seconds to review a decision, if it's taking longer than that to decide, then it isn't a clear and obvious error. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? They take far too long to decide some of these offside decisions, right? And it takes it. You can feel the energy and the flow of the game sapping away.
Oh, absolutely.
The longer they take over these VAR decisions.
That's the thing.
And again,
yeah.
Right? Sorry, I'm going to go off on one now. Again,
go ahead. Floor is yours.
If it isn't clear and obvious, then don't give the bloody decision.
That's the thing. I mean, if you have to change the football rules slightly in order to cater to VAR so that you can give more accurate decisions, then okay, but as long as it's not something that is giving more away to... I'm just trying to think, because there have been plenty of changes of rules in football which have really... What's the word? Like, for example, handball these days, and I want to go back onto this because, kicking
the Eric Dyer decision.
Well, not just that, but like the Manu and Brighton, and those sorts of things. It's VAR is being used to cater towards the potentially offended players too much, is what I'm trying to get at, if that makes sense. It's just...
I read one thing the other day, which was sorry to interrupt, but I read one thing the other day, which was it could be a conspiracy theory, right? That they're deliberately messing up these decisions to make people buy into the whole, Premier League drama, yada yada. Pay $14.95 for each game.
And then what happened?
I mean, that's the absolute nth degree cynic in me talking, but that's not not out of the realms of possibility, considering how ridiculous some of the decisions have been.
I don't even think there's enough disciplinary action for these really harsh decisions either. Like, how many times have you seen this VAR person, he's been given a verbal warning or something like that? I think they get away with it too much. And I think
that's very true. Yeah, you don't see any repercussions for these awful VAR decisions.
Yeah, you're ruining the chances that these players are having. They play for a reason. They play to win.
It's a very fine line between objective and subjective decision making, right? But objectively, that is not offside to me, right?
Yeah.
So if it is objectively not offside, then there has to be repercussions.
On the pitch, football and many other sports should not have political decisions involved in it like this. If that's even the right word, but you know what I mean. Like, it's...
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It needs to be as solid as can be, because that is what creates the drama or the shocking outcomes. It's the players. It's not the VAR. It's not the awful referee. It's the players. Always. When you think of last year and Son's run from his own goal end to the other goal, or Gareth Bale's bicycle kick, or anything like that, that is the players doing, and that's what people talk about as well. So it seems like it is. I can see where that conspiracy theory comes from, because it's trying to provoke some sort of reaction for it to be talked about, and that's absolutely if that is the case, then that is absolutely disgraceful.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's really any. I think we've kind of covered it all, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, the VAR, just pull your finger out.
Pull your finger out, you Jaffa pie.
Right, and speaking of Jaffa pie, we do have Kieran Avenged Sevenfold in the chat. So thank you so much for tuning in, Kieran. Another guy from Mosh Talks, I know. Just popping in a quick break from work, and to answer the title, no, it's a cake. Thank you very much.
It's a pie.
Finally. Kieran insists it's a pie.
And it's definitely not a quiche either.
Right, okay. So, and apparently, just other football news, apparently there was some game between Arsenal and Man City, but we're not going to get into that.
You lost. You lost. You lost.
Okay,
you lost.
what I will say is it's just so frustrating because they were there for the taking after their result against Leicester.
Yeah.
And we just have a mental block against the top 6 teams.
I don't.
That's all I have to say. And that blue kit, by the way, I don't know why we played in dark blue versus their light blue, but that was a colour clash and a half, and it needs to go. The blue away kit at Arsenal needs to go.
That would create so many.
We'll get into that another day. Anyway,
I was going to say that would create so many problems in FIFA.
And also Leno. You could argue he was at fault for their goal. You know, he palmed it away rather than grabbing the bloody thing, just straight into the path of Sterling, and then he slots it home.
At least it's like the only goal. So.
We had the debut of Partey and everything, and who knows what the future holds for us. Anyway, so what else have we got on the agenda?
Right, the last thing I think we can talk about before we move on to listen to this is, I guess we could talk about England internationals because there's so much stuff flying around. We've got an article from TalkSport where our wonderful man Roy Keane, who else? You can't exclude Roy. You can't exclude Roy Keane from anything.
Of course not. Old Captain Scarlet himself.
So Roy Keane questions England fans who treat Jack Grealish like he's the Messiah after Southgate refuses again to pick Aston Villa captain. The one thing that really annoys me about this is coaches like Southgate who ignore the potential or the talent of players, and then just go with their narrow views of things. Like, you know, you had Calvert-Lewin and Danny Ings on a great run with England, showing great results in international so far. But then when Harry Kane is somewhat available, and even after he says his hamstring's tired, he just picks him. And it's just like, you've just ruined that entire momentum that Calvert-Lewin and Danny Ings has had. And I just think it's absolutely, it's mind-boggling. And then, like, you know, with the way Harry Maguire has been lately with his own performances for Man U, why is he still being picked for England internationals? You know.
Well, I mean, I think all I can say about DCL is that he's going straight into my fantasy team next week.
Oh, he already is in mine. Because that
I don't know why I was haggling. So the thing is, I'm a bit of a curse with fantasy teams because I feel like at the moment I pick him, his form's going to go downhill. But we shall see. I have an article from the Independent here, actually.
Yeah.
Which it's basically saying that the bonds of Russia and our success in Russia during the last World Cup has been so difficult to replicate. And the fresh blood are actually coming through better.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it's time to drop some of the people that were kind of almost flash in the pan people in Russia, like Jordan Pickford.
That's the thing. Like, you know, why isn't Nick Pope or Dean Henderson starting? You know, the results that they have provided for...
Aaron Ramsdale,
well. Yeah. I mean, you've got Ben Godfrey now, who's coming up the ranks. So I hope he gets picked in the future, Ben Godfrey, because I think he's an exceptional player. And you know, even Ryan Giggs for Wales, he's not afraid to just exclude Gareth Bale or sub him off. You know, because at that time Bale wasn't at full fitness, so it's understandable. I think Southgate really needs to be more open-minded about these things and open-minded about the absolute depth that he's got with England players at the moment, because there's a countless amount of England players that
I've got to say, we probably have some of the best young talent coming through that I've seen in at least a decade, I would say.
I'm just having a look at the England v Denmark lineup because I'm just this is kind of a mix into who I agree should have, who was fine to play and who shouldn't. So Jordan Pickford's. I mean, he's getting better. He's shown a bit more improvement with Everton now. This
he had I got to say he had
flaws.
a fantastic. He did have a fantastic game in the Merseyside derby. He had some brilliant saves. You could argue he was at fault for their winner that was chalked off.
Yeah,
and also his challenge on Van Dijk was absolutely abhorrently bad.
Absolutely, yeah. So I've got it
here.
But
I don't know. I know several Everton fans from Moss Talks who would be happy to be rid of Pickford as soon. He would be like the first player out the door.
Yeah, and Murrayman said Carl Darlow. No, I absolutely agree. I don't think there's any bias whatsoever. He's been. There's a reason I've put him in my FPL because he's been fantastic so far. Dean Henderson's probably going to decline a little bit because he's part of Man United now and he's not even the first pick at the moment. So I think Nick Pope
he's
got
not
a better
getting
chance.
a game, is he?
No, he's not.
Maybe him, Ole changing that up is what he needs.
Yeah, possibly. And I mean, I'd be happy to if Joe Hart ever retires, then I'd be happy to pick him up, or Hugo Lloris.
Right.
I'd be more than happy.
Who else we got in this?
Kyle Walker, who's played his most favoured position is right back. So why Michael Keane's not in there? Is a mystery to me. Like playing three at the back with Kyle Walker it just does not make sense because he's the kind of person who's good at running through the flanks, and then he's got a good boot on him to back that up. So
we have the Independent article saying Walker and Dyer remain automatic picks too, but seemingly out of muscle memory more than Premier League form.
Yeah, well, Dyer's not playing today. And I don't blame him because he's just given it all, and he has really improved. So I think he's our best defender at the moment. You've got Cody. That's Wolves, isn't it? Cody.
Yeah, Connor Cody. Yeah, He who scored against Wales, I believe.
Yeah. So
I mean, it was a good goal as well.
Yeah, I justify his reason being there by all means.
I think Wolves themselves are going to struggle a bit this season.
Yeah,
for form.
Yeah, but I'll get on to James in a minute because Murrayman's asking about that. But Harry Maguire, not at the moment. I think he needs a rest.
He's very much the kind of unfortunate man of the moment, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he needs a break, right? He's just been through the ringer too much with Man United and with England and with his off-field excursions.
Absolutely. Is that Reece James, is it? Is that his name? R. James?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I didn't know he got red carded. I thought there was only one red card for Maguire, so I'm just as confused as about that. Declan Rice, solid choice, I suppose, but...
Well, he's another one of these contentious should play for Ireland type players.
Yeah, I see what you mean there. Phillips, I don't know much about Phillips.
Calvin Phillips from
Phillips,
Leeds, yeah, he was a surprising choice for me.
Well, I mean,
but again, I like the kind of, I like the way that Southgate is bringing in the younger, the sort of newer talent to England.
Absolutely, yeah.
That is one thing I do like about him. But yeah, formation wise and the players he chooses to kind of be the sort of vanguard of the old England movement, I don't think he's been wise in choosing those.
Then we've got Maitland-Niles on the left. I thought he was right. I thought he played mostly on the right-hand side.
He, I mean, he can play anywhere as far as I'm concerned. I love him.
Yeah. But...
just have him on all penalties as well.
Yeah, I do. I rate Maitland-Niles as a player. Fair play. Mason Mount, I don't disagree with that at all because I think Mason Mount...
He came off very early, Maitland-Niles, though, I will say.
Yeah.
Because of the red card, which I was annoyed about.
Marcus Rashford, yeah, solid player. Not too bad. And then Harry Kane. This was the confusing one for me because I think it was just... This was a bit of stubbornness from me. I think he's had a very heavy schedule, and I think this was not the game for him to play. He needed some rest.
He's on top form at the moment, though. You know,
he's on
so
top
he
form for
should
Tottenham
really...
by all means, but for England, it's
he's
a bit
just
of a
never
different
clicked.
story.
Well, I say he's never clicked with England. He scored a fair few goals, but you do fit. I don't know. I remember that Euros tournament where Roy put him on corners, and he was just hopeless.
Yeah,
that whole tournament.
The thing is with
then again, Roy Hodgson made Raheem Sterling look trash, so can't really.
Yeah, well, he's quite a chance creator now, Harry Kane. So he's two birds, one stone sort of character.
Oh, he's like up there with assists in the league.
Oh
this
yeah,
season, right?
yeah, and like he's still got his fair share of goals as well. So he's like that all-rounded player at the moment. And then Christian Eriksen, my old homeboy, getting the goal in, not too bad. But then on the substitutes, Tyrone Mings, Nick Pope, get him on.
Well, Tyrone Mings is quality. I think him. Well, obviously him and Grealish will work well together because they're teammates at Villa. But I also think he's a solid defense. I'd put him ahead of Maguire personally.
Yeah, I would as well. Jordan Henderson. I mean, who we got instead of them? I'd swap him off.
I think Jordan Henderson's quality as well.
Yeah, I would have swapped him off.
If anything, I'd put him as captain.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I don't know if he is captain actually.
I think Harry Kane wasn't he, or Harry? Harry.
Oh,
Maguire,
it might be Harry.
Why? I don't know. Saka, I think he's got a good run at the moment. Saka, I think. Can you?
He's wobbling a bit. Saka. I was hoping since he signed his contract he'd kick on, but since Aubameyang and him have both signed contracts, they have been kind of out of sorts, which is really worrying.
Right.
I just hate this trend of players begging for big money contracts, otherwise they'll leave. They sign a contract and then immediately their form dips.
Yeah.
It always happens to us.
Yeah.
It's just it's really frustrating.
I can understand why Joe Gomez wasn't playing because he's dipped in form a little bit lately. James Ward-Prowse.
Murray Man says I can understand why Mings is not playing centre back I can't understand why Mings is not playing centre back while Walker is.
I know.
I mean Walker, he's not a natural centre back.
Yeah, that's and he's even got a Team of the Week card now in FIFA as well, a centre back position. So there goes my plans for putting him on right back and putting him in centre back now. So then we've got James Ward-Prowse. I do rate James Ward-Prowse. I think he's deserving of a spot if you consider like the other players in there. I mean, without Højbjerg being in Southampton, Ward-Prowse has really stepped up. Jack Grealish.
He's the main man for me, Jack Grealish. He should be starting every game.
I think he should have started instead of Mount, if I'm honest.
Mason Mount got very lucky with his goal.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's been particularly impressive at Chelsea, if I'm being honest. He started off really well, and then he just kind of, his form just dipped.
Yeah. I would have had Danny Ings on for starting, and then maybe you can get Harry Kane on in the second half at least, or something along those lines. Jadon Sancho, I mean, these two are central attacks. So in this form, there's not really much Jadon Sancho can do. So, yeah, I can understand that. Then Calvert-Lewin, it seems to be like, I don't know, it seems to be missing a bit of key positions. It seems to be like wingers on here and stuff like that, and it just doesn't seem to fit in what can be used for substitutions and things. But then again, I know Southgate's not the kind of person to change formations that much, in a sense.
I think goalkeeper isn't. I agree with what the Independent says here. The goalkeeper's most important position on the pitch. There's understandable reluctance to make a change, but recent history has shown just how beneficial it can be to raise standards. Yeah, Alisson, right? Liverpool without Alisson look a bit of a mess, quite frankly.
Absolutely,
You know?
yeah.
And, with Martinez in the side, I feel like we were a lot more astute than with Leno. I don't know. I hate to keep picking on Leno, but the point I'm getting to is the goalkeeper is definitely probably the most important position on the pitch. And could argue Pickford has sort of had his time between the sticks.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Murrayman asked as well, do you think Ings and Kane would work well together? I've seen.
Well, they're working well together in my fantasy team.
Yeah, I've seen Kane be in there with like a two up front formation, and I think he's a very selfless player. So I think he wouldn't mind getting assists as well as getting goals, and same for Ings. I don't think Ings is a very selfish player either. So I think and they have the same kind of pace as well. So I think they would have good chemistry. So I would say yeah to that, if I'm honest.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah,
I'd like to see it more often. To be fair.
Yeah.
But I think the point we're getting to really is that Southgate probably needs to change things up.
Yeah, and just be a bit less stubborn.
I don't think he's a fraud, as some people are claiming, but I do think he's a bit stubborn's a good word. I think he's a bit too overprotective of some of these players that haven't been pulling their weight,
And the thing is
kind of reminds me a bit of Arsene Wenger during the last years of his era at Arsenal.
He also needs to listen to the managers, the club managers of these players a bit more, because like what Mourinho was saying with Kane, made sense. Like if he's had this issue and he's had that issue, you need to play him this way and that. And these are the people who know them best. Southgate doesn't know them as well as these people, so he needs to put a bit of trust in that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Righty ho then. Shall we get on to listen to this?
Absolutely. So unfortunately, we haven't had many requests in since the last one. So it's just going to be me and Rob reacting to ones that we've given each other. But that's not too bad. But if anybody does have something they want to surprise us with, then by all means you can leave it in the chat here, or you can comment on one of the videos on YouTube. Any of that sort of stuff. So first, we're going to go with your recommendation for me, Rob.
Yes. Okay. So I mentioned earlier how I played Among Us with Dan Tompkins from Tesseract. He actually has a new single out. This is from his upcoming new album, Ruins. And this song, The Gift, features one Matthew K. Hafey of Trivium. Now, just to give you a bit of context, it was an honor to be Matt Hafey himself says it was an honor to be featured on The Gift. Having been a long-time fan of Tesseract and Dan, this was a wonderful collaboration to take part of. People are going to be floored with this release. I mean, I certainly was when I first heard it. First single, The Gift, a brand new song to accompany the album. Matt agreed to contribute to The Gift as a collaboration. Both Matt and myself tracked our vocals directly to fans live on Twitch channels.
Bloody hell.
Which I think is a really interesting way of going about it. Ruins, the album, is a new and heavy interpretation of my debut solo album, Castles, set to be released on 11th of December via Kscope. The album was rewritten and co-produced alongside Paul Ortiz, aka Chimp Spanner. It's a much more aggressive record, pulling me back to my roots as a rock and metal artist. It's also decided to take up on... I also, this is from Dan, decided to take up the guitar. And having been endorsed by the guitars, it's definitely been another new and exciting aspect to my solo work. I'm also very pleased to say that my good friend Pliny has contributed to the album with some wonderful guitar work. Pliny, guitar virtuoso, played it, downloaded a few times. Yeah, good stuff. So it's significantly different to Castles with the addition of Tompkins' signature aggressive versus clean vocal style. It was felt that renaming the album and each song was appropriate, and aside from the lyrics, it's essentially a completely new album. So what's interesting is that these albums, it's songs that have been reimagined from his debut, right? And he said that he's truly grateful to everyone involved, and as far as my own music goes, this album is a definite highlight. In the current climate, I appreciate we're all a little bit worn down, but I'd like to encourage fans to pre-order the record and support us in this challenging time. So there we go. This is The Gift from Dan Tompkins featuring Matt Hafey from Trivium.
Sorry, hang on. So, I'm getting a bit of technical issues here. Bear with me 1 second. What are you after?
Bloody hell, I went on a bit there. I feel like you could have done a little...
Okay, nothing to do with me. But so this is The Gift. So on go, is it?
Okay, right, yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
Love the little bit of the synths going on so far.
Stuff, man.
And you've still got that.
Have you listened to much Tesseract, incidentally?
No.
In the past?
Oh wait, yeah. Certain parts of that. I don't know why I said no to that.
You're on autopilot. You're engaged in the song too much.
I love that.
I love this.
The timbre, as they call it.
Yeah. I love the chorus. It's great.
Just waiting for Matt.
Oh, you'll hear when he comes in.
Yeah, nice.
There he is.
You can hear that is his Twitch screaming.
Yes. Very much so.
I thought that was Matt then. Trying to do an impression of Matt. I'm really digging it so far.
It's great, isn't it? I just love kind of how light and bouncy some of the synths are in this as well as obviously the phenomenal singing and growling that is on display.
Is Matt doing guitars as well?
I think Dan is doing all the guitars. I could be wrong. I think Matt's just singing.
Right. Very alternative.
Well, hang on, wait till this breakdown comes.
Oh.
I love the way both their screams synergize with each other. Like Dan's highs and Matt's lows. And again, Dan implementing the kind of scream sing way, which has been popularised by Architects and all these bands. Interesting aspect to his game. I don't think he's ever done that in Tesseract. It's usually just either screams, like fry screams, or straight ahead cleans. So it's an interesting aspect to his game.
He's got such a powerful voice as well.
He really does.
One of the best voices in metal.
Projection-wise as well, it's easy to kind of... The fact that he can sing that high, but also project and add volume, you know. He's a singing teacher, so, you know, he obviously knows his way around his vocal anatomy.
It's got that mix of sort of like the Tesseract stuff you hear, but the modern metal kind of sound as well.
Well, it's definitely less technical and less kind of mind-bending than Tesseract riffs usually are.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But there you go. So that was The Gift by Daniel Tompkins. What were your initial thoughts on that?
Like I love the different turns that it takes in the song. You know, it starts off one way, it goes into another way, and then when you hear that Matt is in the song, you want to be curious of what he does. And I think him featuring but keeping Dan at the forefront is a good way to do it. And I mean, to be honest, Dan does just as good of a job as that, or great as a job as that on his own, and he definitely shown a lot of what he can do in his vocals in this song, and showing some good talent on the guitars, mind you, as well.
Yes, if that is him, then fair play to Dan.
Yeah, and there's like drum fills as well that you see.
I just love the fact they did all of that. They recorded all of that live on Twitch. You know, it's and I just love the fact that musicians on Twitch are now collaborating with each other.
Absolutely, yeah.
And trying to make things like that kind of... trying to make music sustainable in this sort of period in time where we don't have any gigs or anything.
Yeah,
and helping each other out. That's what I love most about that. Obviously, love the breakdown, the way Dan and Matt Screams have synergized with each other. I love the guitar work. I love the bounce. Oh, bless you. I love the bouncy, light kind of synth stuff in the verses. And yeah, Dan's just a phenomenal vocalist. So again, I highly encourage you you buy that, pre-order the album. I highly recommend you follow him on Twitch, DM Tesseract. And yeah, good stuff.
What is going on? Last week it was the curtains. This week is me sneezing all the time.
Oh dear. At least you sorted out those curtains from last week.
Just to explain earlier, Kate, you were sneaking in here to get her hairdryer, so that's why I was a bit distracted. She was crawling along the floor. So, anyway, so my recommendation for you this week, Rob, is from a band called Shadow of Intent.
Yes.
So they're a band that formed in 2014. They're generally described as an American deathcore band, but I don't think they're just... I think they're loosely deathcore, if you get what I mean. It's like they've got so many experimental things going on in their music that you can really categorize them into even melodic death metal, anything like that. They claim that they play melodic deathcore, having a lyrical theme of Halo, a military science fiction first-person shooter game, as you know. Their take on the sound manages to be a fresh way past the prime of the genre, so they kind of want to take it onto their new kind of sound. So their EP that they released was called Inferi Sententia, which released in the year 2014. Then the first major LP was Primordial. So you get the same kind of stuff that you get on their latest album. So if you like what you hear off this one, then definitely check this album out, because it's got some of the amazing stuff that you hear off this album as well. Then following up with... Oh, no, sorry, not this one. The one after that, Reclaimer. Sorry, my bad. That's the one, that the previous album. So that's got a lot of the good stuff on it. And then moving straight onto that, we have their latest album, Melancholy, that released last year. And if Thornhill was number 1 from my albums last year, then I think this was definitely number 2, as far as I remember. So the song that I've got off this one, only recently in the last month or two, got released as a proper music video and single, and the song is number 2 on the album, Gravesinger. So have you got the song up in front of you?
Yeah, I have it queued up. Yep.
Cool. So on go, this will be Melancholy, Gravesinger. 3, 2, 1, go.
Interesting strings to begin with. Oh, this almost seems like the kind of music you get in a trailer for like a video game or something.
Halo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, very nice. I like the way it keeps building and building and building. Yeah. I love a good yeah.
This isn't even like the most mental song on the album, but the way it goes is great.
Very nice. Like the drumming in this. Oh, who does that remind me of? Bit Lamb of God-y, kind of.
Listen to that.
Like the yeah. Very nice. Yeah, definitely Randy Blythe is an influence on this guy, I can tell.
The lower part of him, yeah.
Yeah, the more guttural side of Randy's vocals. You know what this bit reminds me of? The Anna on the Frack I showed you. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
almost kind of power metal-y bombast in that kind of guitar work.
Then going in with Dimmy Borgia.
Yeah. Very nice. I like this bit. Good riffage.
Oh, they're masterclass in that.
I like that. I like the kind of overlapping kind of radio frequency sounding vocals with the gutturals. Yeah, a bit of Mitch Lucker in those highs, for sure.
Oh, I miss Mitch.
And again, you know, keeps cropping up, the scream singing. It seems like everyone's doing it nowadays. Solo. Very nice.
Well, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, suddenly turned into Dragon Force. Herman Lee's suddenly in charge of the guitar. Nice.
Nice bass at the end.
Nice. I like the outro. Choral outro.
And there we go. That is Shadow of Intent with Gravesinger. So, like, the album itself, some of my favourites off the album are like Dirge of the Void. That's another great one. The one that comes after this, Barren and Breathless, Macrocosm. Melancholy, the first song, and Malediction is also a great one. I think that was the first or second single from the album. So, yeah, so much stuff to check out from the album. So I couldn't recommend it enough.
Nice. Can I just ask, is this a concept album?
I don't know.
Because the way the sort of you have the kind of those interludes, like the choral passages and the brass and the kind of bombast of it all, makes it seem like there's a kind of more of a narrative
possibly
behind some of these songs.
I could have a quick look for you. Shadow.
But yeah, just in terms of the actual track itself, yeah, it was. I mean, as I've probably reiterated time and time again in this podcast, I'm not a massive deathcore guy, you know, but I just think the instrumentals were, the instrumentation was really good. I like the solo. I like the kind of mid-late part with that riffage, with the overlapping kind of the high kind of Mitch Lucker-esque screams contrasting with the low gutturals, low Randy Blythe-esque gutturals. Yeah, I really like the drums actually in the beginning as well. The kind of the battering ram sort of blast beaty kind of stuff going on.
Yeah. So to answer your question of a concept album, yes, it is indeed. It's a concept.
I thought it was.
It's a concept album detailing a mass suicide controlled by a demonic goddess, and tells the story of a man in that mass suicide trying to escape from the afterlife.
That can only be a deathcore based concept album.
Absolutely.
With that narrative.
But
yeah, no, that was a good. I kind of thought it was, just like I said, based on just how bombastic it seemed, and how like there was Anal Nafrak in it in parts. I thought as well.
Yeah, I think
bit of that endarkment stuff I showed you from last week.
Yeah, what I love about that song in particular is the amount of original kind of rhythmic stuff that they came out with that song. Like, I don't think you've heard that kind of intro before, where it's like dun 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 dun. It's that's something quite new to me, and I feel like that sort of thing is something that hooked me onto the album as soon as I heard it, especially with like Melancholy. Is it Melancholy the first song? I can't remember. Yes, it should be. Yeah, Melancholy the first song. That in itself just a great intro to that. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, I love the fact as well that being a deathcore band, they're not afraid to put elements such as these bombastic brassy passages and these choral angelic kind of passages in the outro into their work.
I feel like deathcore as well as metalcore has now become a very open playing field in what can be produced.
It wasn't like a bit of a homogenized kind of mess like it was in, say, like 5 years ago, where every band just sounded the same.
Well, just like either blast beats or just chuggy breakdowns, and that I don't mind that stuff, but I don't like it when it's like 75% of the song. If that,
I like when bands try something new.
Yeah,
even if it fails, I respect them for continuously sort of pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have a winning formula, that's great, and I love that as well. But I have even more respect for bands that kind of try and go out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like, there's many other deathcore bands that I do take quite a liking to, like Die Art is Murder and Fit for an Autopsy. So I may have to show you some Fit for an Autopsy if you haven't heard them before. So who knows? Maybe
I have not heard of Fit for an Autopsy yet. So.
If you like Gojira, I think Fit for an Autopsy would be good for you. So be patient until next week.
Great stuff.
All right.
Alrighty then. So we come to our last segment then of the podcast. It's our usual last segment of each podcast we've done so far, and it's Would You Rather.
Let's go.
So I have 100 Would You Rather questions from signupgenius.com. I'm going to get KB to pick a number between 1 and 100, and we will discuss the resulting Would You Rather question within. So please, KB, can you pick a number between 1 and 100?
Okay, so my psychic powers are bringing up a 3, and then a 7. 37.
So
bingo.
37. Right. Oh, this could hit a little bit too close to home, but we'll go for it.
For me or for you?
Would you rather have a 10-hour dinner with a headstrong politician from an opposing party, or attend a 10-hour concert for a music group you detest?
I would. Well, to be honest, I know we don't bring politics into it, but in terms of it's obviously gonna be Boris, but I think I would still like have some sort of conversation with Boris, in some shape or form, and if I at least like we'd be in a setting where I could take the piss, but in a concert you can't really, because the detestable band is gonna perform much louder than you're gonna be able to speak.
10-hour concert. That's unfathomable.
That's just torturous. That's way more torturous.
To be honest, I couldn't really. Maybe the Arctic Monkeys. If the Arctic Monkeys play for 10 hours, I want to. No, Radiohead. If Radiohead had a 10-hour concert and I was there, I'd want to.
Ooh, have you divided
I don't know,
people
punch
now?
myself in the face repeatedly.
This is the first time I've ever heard you actually say anything bad about Radiohead.
Although then again, if I was sitting next to Boris Johnson for 10 hours at a dinner, I mean, it would be funny.
To be honest, I mean, you wouldn't get through the full dinner, because asking how he is would probably take 10 hours for him to answer anyway.
Oh, well, yes,
well, I think it's
flippity waffity, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no.
Flippity floppy. Those corporate jellies.
Okay, can we pick the music group that we can pick the politician and we can pick the music group we detest then?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so say I pick... I'm going to pick someone like, I don't know, I want to play it kind of, I want to be clever here and kind of pick a band that I don't like, but I still think are quite funny.
Okay.
Right? So like, that psychosexual band, that the drummer from Five Finger Death Punch is in now. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I think so. Well, no, I haven't. No, definitely not.
No. I don't even want to show you it for listening to this. It's so bad.
I mean,
but it's kind of this ultra kind of spoopy, over the top kind of shock rock crap.
Right.
You know?
Well, I was
just watching a 10-hour concert of it would be hilarious, and you get a lot of entertainment value out of it. Whereas I think sitting next to a politician that you couldn't stand, you just want to.
Well, initially
I'm not having that.
Initially, I was thinking Five Finger Death Punch because but then again, I did like their new album. I thought it was okay.
Did you?
However,
I haven't listened to it, to be fair.
I am not the massive fan of Eagles of Death Metal, and if I had to sit through a 10-hour concert of their songs, I think I would rather sit with Boris Johnson.
That's a really interesting. Because weren't me and you in the queue for a beer whilst Eagles of Death Metal were playing at Download?
I think so. I
didn't realise you harboured such an animosity towards.
I don't really harbour an animosity to any band, really. I just think, well, unless you count, I don't know, like 5 Seconds of Summer or any stuff like that. Really.
Oh, good God!
Oh, that would be torturous, just because of the people in the crowd.
Well, yeah, the people in the crowd.
I would just start a mosh pit in one area and like push
Although,
all the
to be
teenage
fair,
girls
I
around.
can't imagine what sort of people would ever go to a psychosexual show once gigs start up again. Maybe like I don't know, the kind of goths that would like, listen to goth versions of the Thomas the Tank Engine theme tune.
Absolutely.
And rave in a big field to it.
Who's been?
No, I don't. I'm going to say
about-
music. I'm going to say gigs 100%. I just can't be dealing with politics on any level.
I choose the politic man. But going back to music for a little second. Remember how badly rated Bam Margera's band was at Sonosphere?
Oh God, have we talked about that? I think we must have talked about that.
I don't know
at some point.
But if that was the 10-hour gig,
I mean, that would be chaos. That would be like, I mean, it was chaos when I originally saw it at Sonosphere. So it was Bam Margera's band post the death of Ryan Dunn, where he was going through a bit of a crisis. It wasn't very nice to watch. But they played in a tent at Download, and a lot of people were there, including myself. And I don't know, were you there as well, KB?
I didn't see it, no.
No. Essentially, I felt like I was witnessing a midlife, some sort of midlife crisis live on stage, some sort of emotional breakdown.
Bloody hell!
Because he came on the stage bear in mind, it was like 150 degrees or something in there. It was ridiculous. He came on full blown hoodie, so many layers, sunglasses, hood draped over his head the entire time. Everyone on stage was talking over each other. The songs were awful. The renditions of the cover songs they did were pretty awful, apart from when their guitar player did Indifference by Pearl Jam as a tribute to Ryan Dunn, which was quite nice. And Novak was there completely stark bollock naked in fishnet stockings holding a bottle of wine in his hand. This was kind of peak out of his mind Novak. He's clean now, but yeah, it was just a very awkward gig to watch. And there was also at one point some pissed guy from the crowd went on stage and was just into the microphone, "Oh, I love Boucher, he's my hero," and it was just, it was awkward. 10 hours of that, I'm not sure about that.
All right, if I had to watch Electric Wizard for 10 hours, this would be my reaction.
Well, to be fair, 10 hours is the length of the average Electric Wizard song, isn't it? So,
that's what it feels like.
No, I'm not really into that kind of overly slow doom metal. We listened to one last night on a New Music Saturday called Green Druid, which is pretty good because they changed it up a bit. It wasn't just one note like Sun O. Can you imagine being at a Sun O gig for 10 hours?
Ooh, okay. I don't know. I haven't listened to enough of Sun O stuff, so I can't really say.
One sustained guitar note.
Really?
Yeah, like pretty much is what their music is.
Oh. Okay, next one.
Right, next one. I think, yeah, whatever. I'll go for gigs, you go for politics, right? Woo.
Absolutely. Ooh. Is that your gong going off?
That is my rendition of Sun O.
Oh.
The Sun O gig. It's basically
Sun O at a funeral.
That is Sun O in a nutshell.
All
right, okay. So, another number. This is going to be our last one today. Another number between 1 and 100.
Okay, I'm just contacting my great-grandmother from the dead, and she's pulling out a number, She's saying, 42.
Okay. Thank you for these overly elaborate number choosing things. Would you rather, and I hope Kate is listening, would you rather be proposed to in private or in front of family and friends?
Oh. Well, I know Katie's answer for that would be in private. My answer would be also in private. Just no-brainer for me. I think it's.
Well, there you go. So why not in front of family and friends then? Would it be too awkward or?
No, I just think. I don't know. I feel there's a bit more pressure. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I would say no, but
I mean, it's. I guess it's easier for her because you're the one that's presumably well. It's always the man that does the proposing, right?
yeah, I don't want anybody else included in like possibly forcing a decision. I would rather it be between us in our own comfortable space, if that makes sense. So that's an easy
you
one
want
for
it.
me.
You want it within the sort of realms of your own kind of. You want as kind of. I don't want to say safe space, but you know,
there's a right way of saying that.
Full
and there's a
blown
wrong way.
woke here, but no, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You want it in your right. I feel like I'm going to sneeze at any minute. Sorry, I keep.
Oh, sorry, I spread
I've
it over
caught
to
your
you.
sneezing bug.
That's what happens when I sneeze into the microphone.
Yeah. Until then, it's an interesting one. I mean, I haven't really been in any relationships, really, that have been worth.
I've never been
getting
married.
to that stage. But I don't know. If the time came to it, I'd definitely rather do it in private, just to save the awkwardness.
Yeah.
If you're on if you're at like a gig or something, I always kind of in my head fantasized about proposing to a potential future fiance.
Are you
going on stage at like Foo Fighters or something?
Are you remembering what I'm
or
remembering?
Metallica?
Does Marilyn Manson ring a bell?
Yes. Okay. So at Download
2018 it was, I think.
2018. This was before Guns N' Roses.
I think it was before Ozzy. It was on a Sunday, I'm sure.
It was before Ozzy. Yeah. No. Because who was before? I think it was Blackstone Cherry before Guns N' Roses. But essentially, we were all standing in the sort of around the Sound Tower region.
Yeah, that was our meeting point
of the main stage, right? And there was this one girl who was like super into Marilyn Manson. She was like going mental for every song, and like eventually it came. I can't remember what song it was. I think it was like the encore song.
I think
the
so.
one, the soundtrack, the one that he did for the soundtrack for that film, and he came out in a big fur coat.
Yeah, I can't
like catwalk style. And then at that point, right in front of us, literally just kind of to the right of us, almost, this kind of pit was sort of opening, and then we saw this bloke get down on one knee and propose to this girl.
I know.
And I've never seen a proposal at a gig before.
I think didn't you notice it because I just randomly and
was it you going in first?
I think it was. Wow, no, my God, oh my God. And then everyone
I mean, you went, yeah, and I kind of went, yeah, and then the chain reaction of that started. In the back of my mind, I did think it'd be funny if she said no.
Yeah.
I must admit, but it was a great moment, you know, because everyone was then focusing on this couple that was right next to us, as opposed to focusing on Manson, because Manson was playing at his song at the time.
Yeah.
As well.
So,
and I wasn't really thinking much about it. To be fair, I was there for like Beautiful People and Fight Song, which you didn't play.
So the cover was "Cry Little Sister" by Gerard McCann.
That's the one. There you go. And she did cry.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually were right next to him and offered our congratulations.
But she wasn't a little sister. She was not blood related.
But that was our first proposal experience of proposal at a gig. But I've always kind of, in the back of my mind, thought that it would happen at a gig when they resume, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously you've had instances in the past. Metallica have done it. It's been done. I think it's been done at Foo Fighters.
Yeah. And
it's always massive bands. They've got them up on the stage, and that, you know what, that would be an interesting segment for a future podcast.
That's the thing. See, like
podcast proposals that have happened on stage at gigs.
Yeah.
And what the bands were.
Yeah. The thing is like if I don't want if the other person says no, I don't want other people giving a shit. Because
you have like 100,000 people in the
I would
audience,
rather not
especially
that
at
happen.
download. Or if she's the Marilyn Manson girl said no, we would have felt awkward, so awkward for him.
Yeah, and like because I remember there was like a basketball thing, and the mascot after she said no and walked off, the mascot just went what? It's like, well, mind your own business.
You weren't there, were you? Was this just a clip you saw?
This was a clip I saw. Yeah, it was like on Failblog or something.
But no, I'm with you. Private all day long. I mean, I can't really understand I can't really see the con. I mean, the cons obviously in private is if they say no.
Then you can.
But there's no one around to give you.
The con is if they say no, at least there is a bathroom nearby that you can lock yourself in.
I think the cons are a lot bigger if you're in public. Although you probably, if you're in a nice restaurant, you'd probably get bought dinner for the rest of the evening and get a nice bottle of champagne from the maitre d' or whoever. But nah, private all day long.
Hat trick.
All right. Well, anyway, so we're going to wrap it up there.
Yep.
Thank you so much, everyone in the chat, for watching Keyard Podcast episode number 9. Number 9. We will return at our usual time on Saturday, 2 p.m. next week. We couldn't do Saturday this week because KB was working.
Yeah, had overtime. So that will help towards the budget of the next few podcasts.
For sure. But it's been an absolute pleasure. And again, thank you so much in the chat for contributing all your questions. Thank you for Michael, who's been pretty much coming on this in the chat without fail since I mentioned this podcast to him. So again, thanks for that.
Yeah, cheers.
So socials. Where can we find you, KB?
So usual places, mainly YouTube and Twitter are where I'm most active, and then I've got a Facebook page for people to like, all with the same username. I showed my TikTok earlier, but that seems to be more people coming from TikTok to my YouTube, so that's to your own discretion. But I do post original stuff on there as well, like some reactions and things like that to TikTok videos, because there is
you're trying to grow your TikTok in particular, aren't you?
And I think I'm trying to grow it to kind of spread the word about my YouTube more. That's like my sole intention.
YouTube guys in the chat. Kieran's YouTube channel is well worth a follow. Sorry, midway through.
Nightbot certainly endorses it.
Yes, he does. You do mainly like list countdowns and stuff and things, right?
Yeah. I do more like reaction slash bantery kind of stuff compared to like countdowns these days. But I do kind of retain. I do like to retain the core audience as well. It just depends, I think. But the latest video is reading Let's Not Meet, which is long stories of people having encounters with people that they hope to never meet again, and that spreads across a wide array of different kind of stories. So it was a fun read. It was 19 minutes, which I didn't expect it to be, but it's nice build up kind of thing. So
so that's KEYRUNBENJI.
That's correct. And then streaming video games. I think I'm contemplating doing FIFA next, or actually, yeah, I'll do FIFA. I'll do FIFA on Wednesday.
We'll give MS Winfield a shout because he's started FIFA. Maybe you could do a collab on it or something.
Sounds good. Yeah, by all means.
As for myself, I very rarely use socials nowadays because I just don't want to know, But I'm on Instagram under Rob Veryard, VERYARD. I do have a Twitter under RobV93, which is also my Twitch name. Don't use it very often. I only really retweet silly stuff.
And host me as well.
I guess my main outlet is my music, and you can find my music page. Well, I have two, right? I have Rob Very Odd Music on Facebook, which is where my own personal tunes go on. And I have my band, Wednesday, which is my Green Day tribute band, which you can find at, I believe it's just called Wednesday on Facebook. Although we also go under Wednesday UK Official. That's WENZDAY.
Nice.
So finally, we have our YouTube channel, which is fully up and running, which is the Key Odd Podcast on YouTube.
Mhm.
So please go and subscribe to that and watch all our videos, like them, share them, yada yada yada. Any last words, KB?
Don't drink and drive; you'll spill your drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't do the speedy and the tamping.
Nope. Absolutely not. That is for
All right,
child eyes only. All right.
All right.
Good morrow, and thank you. I don't know what happened there.
We've got to stop trying to
out.
talk over each other. But anyway, yeah. You want to give your sign off then, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. Lights out. Oh, and just the last bit of news. Amazon Prime, Friday. Is it Friday? Borat 2. Going to be watching that, most definitely. So
yes,
I will be
definitely.
bringing some sort of feedback into that for that as well. So
oh, good. Well, expect feedback on that next week.
Brilliant.
So, yeah. Lights out?
Lights out. Cheers, guys.